Hey, it's Tony with Timpl. How do you attract Gen Z into skilled trades? I've come up with categories or misconceptions that Gen Z has that you as a company are going to have to overcome. Now, I can't tell you exactly what you need to do for each of these because you're going to have to apply this principle, this kind of mental roadblock, this kind of desire that they have for what they think they want. And you're going to have to show that that either exists in your company or that what you have is better or maybe even changes their mind. So I'm going to run through the top of these mindsets that they have, that what you can do for each of these is you need to focus on a hiring campaign or a social media campaign. You can even use memes for each of these. For example, negative perception of trades. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't sound that sexy. So you need to show, for example, in this case of the negative perception of trades, you would want to show someone working in a white collar desk job doing grunt work, right? And then contrast that with someone doing some really cool outdoor work, right? By the lake, by the mountains, fresh air. You know what I mean? You have to use some imagery here. So as I go through these, I want you to be thinking, what kind of a marketing campaign could you put around your business to show that the life of a tradesman, a tradesperson, is really on par, if not in some cases better, than being in a white collar desk job? And I think we have to back up one step and just realize one of the reasons that your company and the industries that are trying to attract Gen Z into the trades, we have a general lack of awareness, and the skilled trades needs to be exposed to people at a much earlier age, right? Even going back into middle school, certainly in through high school. So the bigger challenge that you have is, how do you start educating the upcoming workforce? And this, we're not going to get into that today, but I think you can obviously see working with the Chamber of Commerce, Better Business Bureau, and kind of getting tied in with your local schools is a great way to start. And we're in kind of partnering with those trade schools that are in your local area. What are they doing? How can you support and help them, right, communicate better with middle school and high school kids? And I think that's the longer term strategy, but we really can't get into that today. So the negative perception of trades, right, is going to be overcome, as I say, through these social media techniques and marketing campaigns and memes. The next area that they really are going to be looking for in their career is this kind of preference toward tech-driven careers, right? So you need to show that solar and EV and robotics actually are tech, right? And you can actually work in tech through trade. The other area is they want immediate results. And this one kind of is kind of a head scratcher to me, because if you go to trade school, you literally do get immediate results. You're not going to get immediate results going to school. That's 4, 5, or 6 years and accumulating debt. I can think of a lot of interesting social media campaigns to work on to present that concept of, let's get immediate results, because you can spend a day in the classroom studying. What do you really have to show for it except a little bit of knowledge, a lot of time lost? Maybe you wanted to do something else, but then you can show the immediate results of, you're confronted with a factual physical problem and you fix that problem. So you can definitely show that. There is another misconception about work-life balance. I think there was a time when, of course, back COVID, there were a lot of people were working from home, and that created this overbalanced, overweighted, like work from home or work-life balance. So a lot of Gen Zs were like, hey, let's really ramp up on that work-life balance. Well, that pendulum is shifting already. And a point in case, Amazon just ended its work from home policy. And starting first of the year in 2025, everyone's got to return to work. So I think there's a lot you can do with that. And when you are a tradesperson, you do have a little more autonomy. You do have a little more work-life balance because you're able to handle things in your normal day that you couldn't do in a desk job. Like desk job, you're stuck kind of in an office, right? You can't go out and run an errand. Well, if you're in a trades role, your schedule can be a little different. It could open up some time in the middle of your afternoon where you can run, do some errands, do some things. You're outside. And I think too, the work-life balance concern is overblown, because the really good tradespeople, as they develop their skills, they're able to move into a different set of freedom where they can set their schedule. They can become their own boss. They can open up their own business. Of course, there's work to do in creating your own business, but when you have your own business, you can set your schedule when you want to work. And I think that you can do that much quicker and much sooner than you can when you go work for a company. The next area is they think it's too physically demanding. It's too hard. Well, again, the memes that come to mind would be showing someone who doesn't look that healthy, stuck behind a desk with horrible lighting. Compare it to someone who is strong, physically fit, outside, getting some good exercise, feeling good, feeling healthy, right? So yeah, you're going to be using, yes, it is a harder, physically more challenging type of job, but what does that give you? What are the benefits of that? Like if you're horribly out of shape, yeah, there's going to be a period where you're having to go through to get into shape. But man, once you're in shape, come on, you feel great. The benefits from that are fantastic. I think there's a misunderstanding of career growth and kind of where this can go. Yes, there can be a defined career path in corporate, but there is definitely career growth within a trades role. Now, I don't know which trades you have, which you're trying to promote, but you know what the career paths are. So you need to show those career paths. Now, I touched on this earlier about the problem of awareness, and this kind of ties in with that. The problem is there's very little influence with parents and schools to promote this as a viable alternative to college. So what you want to do is set up these little centers of influence. You might want to have people who are doing great work in the space, and they're very successful, they're very happy. You might want to start creating some social posts around successful people, right? And creating, TikToks or shorts and reels, blog posts about these people and how their lives have been changed, right? Those are stories that they can then relate to, and that becomes this influence on them and on their decision. Because right now that does not exist. The other area that they look for, and frankly, I think a lot of people look for this, they want to see purpose, like a purpose-driven life. When you start off in corporate, whatever kind of job you're in, a lot of times the work you're doing can be kind of grunt, it can be kind of under the radar, not that important. And not every company you work for is a purpose or mission-driven company. So the trades, they really offer a real tangible difference in their community, right? Think about what's happening in Asheville. Think about what's happening in some of the other small cities and towns that were affected by Hurricane Helene. Talk about a great purpose. These people, these tradespeople that get to come in and help rebuild communities, that is what could be more fulfilling than that, right? You're actually really benefiting people. And even on a small scale, helping people with electrical, plumbing, helping a business grow, add a new building, helps a company expand into a new city. You could extrapolate that out, is you're supporting growth. So I don't know. I see a way to tie trades into purpose-driven work. And let's not forget, people can donate their time. So one of the things you could be doing to have this purpose-driven sense behind your company is the company itself can be donating its time into the community. So yeah, maybe you're hiring electricians, but you also do pro bono work, right? And you help these other, communities at risk that need help, so they can come and join and be part of that. I think that's a big, big benefit. Frankly, I think all companies should be doing that. There's this concept that, again, kind of back with that work-life balance, that there's a remote work limitation. They want to do more remote work. Well, the problem with working remote is that if you don't have any experience, it's very hard to get trained. And I think there's a misconception about the benefit of that is that to really be able to work independently or work remote, you've got to be fully trained and you've got to work in the office. I think it's very difficult to be trained remotely, in my opinion. And so while most trades, they do require physical presence, they do offer the freedom from being desk bound, right? And that's kind of liberating. So again, I would focus on a meme around, sure, you might not be working from home, but you're not chained or tied to a desk and those types of deadlines. So I think there's a lot you can do with that. I did another video on desire for stability. I think people who believe there's more stability in desk, work behind a desk or working for a company, they just have not been exposed to trades. They just don't understand the ebbs and flows of business. I think there is arguably more stability in trades because there is a consistent demand for growth and maintenance and repair. And if you're working for a company and you're not in sales and that company is, even salespeople can get laid off, but if you're in a company that, loses a client, their revenue is cut off and then there's a problem for you, that demand can drop. So the desire for stability, I think you can definitely handle that one. This is an interesting one, the stigma around blue collar work. I actually think that's changing a little bit. I think the perception of blue collar workers is shifting. I think tradespeople are more recognized now for their essential skills. Many of them show this entrepreneurial flair as well. And that kind of goes back to the influence that people and companies and schools are putting on kids or not putting on kids and not showing enough positive stories of people who are successful. So I think you can overcome that stigma around blue collar through awareness, through better education, and showing what these career paths are, what success looks like, what it looks like to be healthy and fit. I think that's how you can overcome that stigma of that blue collar work. And I'm going to finish with this one, a high focus on work benefits. In my opinion, if you're a young person, that's like the last thing you really want to be focused on is benefits. I mean, yes, there's a base level of benefits that you need, right? Especially young families, you want to have healthcare, things like that. But really, when you're young in your career, you really want to be focused on getting that experience, getting that earning up, getting that skill set secure so you can keep that growth going. And I think the best companies out there understand that in trades, people have to have benefits, right? So there are some environments that are going to have more. Like if you get into a unionized environment, there will be more. You've got, competitive benefit packages. You've got competitive salary, competitive pay. So some of those, can be even more than corporate and desk. So I think you have to recognize that Gen Z, they do want benefits, and you're going to have to do a better job of just showing the benefits of working in trades. And again, some of those benefits are mental and physical. So you need to show that, because if you just think a benefit is financial, but then you're tied to the desk, you're not getting out, you're not getting sun, you're not getting exercise, that's a disadvantage, right? So there is a benefit to being active and healthy. So I don't want to overplay that, but I do think there's a way to kind of incorporate that subtly into your benefits. But surely, if you don't offer any benefits, then you have a problem. So, but you just need to make sure you're showing that perhaps healthcare, dental and vision, you've got a decent package. And if they have to go out into the open exchange because you can't offer all of that, you can at least bump up that pay so they can go out and get what they want. So these are some of the roadblocks and mental kind of aspirations that Gen Z wants. And I think if you handle each of these individually and kind of prioritize them for your city, your town, your company, your workforce, and then get kind of creative the way you create videos, show your company culture, create these memes, I think through all of that, you can compete and start attracting Gen Z into your more trades lifestyle business that you have. Of course, we're here to support you. We are a staffing company. We deal with tradespeople. We deal with general labor. We deal with warehouse, logistics. So if you're struggling and you can't find, what it is that you're looking for, please contact me. I'll get you connected with one of our many branches that we have around the country, and we can handle whatever staffing needs you have. Well, if you stuck it out to the end, I appreciate it. Give yourself a thumbs up. Appreciate that. And we'll see you next time.